Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Who everybody's happy with? This kid on the screen right here, Dame Sarr. Okay, so let's get into this. And the one thing I will say, every year, my job kind of evolves a little bit, and it's fun. It's one of the fun things. Like college basketball now, we might not like everything about it. It's so much more interesting in the offseason. But one of the trends that I noticed last year, we've gone through the portal stuff, we've gone through the high school stuff, whatever. But one of the trends that I've noticed really specifically last year, a lot of really good international players are coming to college basketball. Last year, remember, we were talking in May about Yegor Demin coming to BYU. We were talking about Kaspars Yakashonis coming to Illinois. And so I only bring it up because over the last couple of years, the European players are now realizing, oh, crap, there's a lot of money to be made in college basketball. By the way, if you're good enough, it's great exposure. I mean, Yakashonis, I think, went from being like a probably middle of the first round guy to a potential lottery pick. Yegor Demin the same. So it's great exposure if you're the right player. But one thing I was going to say was the last couple months, I've spent a lot of time just talking to sources and contacts and this and that, trying to figure out, okay, who's the next Yegor Demin? Who's the next Kaspars Yakashonis? Who are the international players that I need to watch out for that could potentially play college basketball? Well, I bring it up because you can see the face right there. You can see the name on the bottom of the screen. Dame Sarr is a name that has popped up quite a bit, okay? He is a wing, originally from Italy, about 6'6". Played for FC Barcelona. Obviously, they have the soccer team, but they have basketball as well. And he's a very interesting story, okay? He's about to be 19 years old, so he is technically draft eligible. I don't think this year necessarily went exactly how he wanted it to. And what becomes interesting with him is that he is technically draft eligible, but it feels as time goes on more and more like this could be a kid who's playing college basketball here over the next the next year, okay? I don't think anybody would have said that maybe 6 months ago. I know probably even 2 months ago, there was probably only one school recruiting him. But I just bring it up because it feels like this kid, who could be a potential NBA draft pick this year, is going to say no to the NBA, play college basketball, so let's go ahead and dive in. What's interesting about his recruitment, First off, Illinois was like, by the way, for people who are watching this clip, we're like an hour and 10 minutes into this show. So my brain's all over the place, but, so originally, let me start over. Originally, it felt like everything was trending towards Illinois. It felt like they were early on him. Illinois, to their credit, has done a great job recruiting in Europe. Yakashonis, as we've said, Tomislav Ivisic, of course, they brought over last offseason. And it felt like they were in the driver's seat. It felt like they were in great shape. It felt like they were going to get him. But it feels like the last month or so, 3 weeks or so, feels like for whatever reason, that, kind of buzz is kind of quietly dying down. Now, what's especially interesting about Dame Sarr is that if you pay close attention, he played in the Nike Hoop Summit over the weekend, and he was one of the best players on the floor. 17 points in that game, 4 rebounds. I believe it was 1 3-pointer made. And I think all of a sudden that recruitment just got a little bit more interesting from his perspective of all of a sudden there's all these eyeballs on him that maybe were familiar but probably didn't know a ton about him. I bring it up because among the schools that are now in the mix, Oregon, Kentucky, Miami, maybe BYU. Let's dive into all of them. First of all, I'll say this. I don't think BYU is maybe as much of a contender as a lot of the outlets have made it seem. They're pretty good on the wing. I would say AJ DeBonsa, who's going to be the number 1 or number 2 pick in the next draft, and Richie Saunders, who was all Big 12 first team this year. I'd say you're pretty good at the wing spots. I'd also say this, and I'll say this, I'm guilty of this too. I've noticed a lot of kids are just including BYU in a list, including Kentucky in a list. Yes, including Lamar Wilkerson. I screwed that one up. I own it. But they're including these schools in the list that they know are spending a lot of money. So you put BYU in the list to raise the price. Oh, BYU's interested. You got to jack that price up another $400,000, whatever. I don't really think BYU's in the mix. What I do think is this. I think Oregon's in the mix. Oregon, first of all, they got the Phil Knight money. They got the Big Ten money. They're not hurting for NIL, and they do need players. I mean, that roster just flips over year, that it's hard to keep track of. Obviously, they have the Shellstad kid coming back, really good player at the point guard position. But other than that, a lot of moving parts on that roster. It's worth noting that Nike Hoop Summit, of course, is in Portland, Oregon. So obviously they got maybe a little bit of a close-up look at him over the last couple days as the Nike Hoop Summit kind of was underway. But Jackson Shellstad should be back. But then other than that, again, some of these guys are graduating. Some have declared. Some of them are transferring. They need bodies. They need dudes. I've seen some people say that they're maybe the new leader in the clubhouse for him. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think they are going to be a factor. The other one that just becomes interesting, and listen, I've whiffed on a couple Kentucky predictions, so I'm not doing it here. Don't yell at me, Kentucky fans or other fans. I got killed for the Lamar Wilkerson stuff, okay? And I probably should have been. I should have been. Kentucky fans slap me around. I deserve it. But Kentucky's clearly interested. Mark Pope was at the Nike Hoop Summit. Now, I'll be real. I didn't even know coaches could attend that kind of stuff. I thought it was like an NCAA rules violation, tampering something. Apparently, Mark Pope was there. It was published and it was out there. And I'll say this: the one thing about Kentucky, one, not afraid to dip into the international waters. They added the Croatian kid a couple weeks ago. Two, they need help on the wing. Again, we thought they were getting Lamar Wilkerson, or at least I did. Maybe other people felt a different way, but they didn't get Lamar Wilkerson. Otega Oweh has declared for the draft. You need scoring on the wing, and so this kid could come in. If he plays to his capabilities, be a first-round pick, maybe that's a spot for him. But Kentucky's going to take another guy regardless of what Otega Oweh does, and I think Otega Oweh is coming back to college basketball. But I just bring it up because kind of a nice fit, right? So could they push all their chips in the middle for him? And then the other one, I'll say this. Just keep an eye on Miami, okay? And I know when you see Miami kind of in a list like this, you kind of just, oh, Miami, whatever. They're not a factor. Jay Lucas is a dog, man. Jay Lucas is a freaking dog, and he's quietly actually put together a very nice roster. Malik Renew from Indiana has transferred there. Trey Donaldson, who started with producer Matt's Auburn Tigers, then to the Michigan Wolverines. He's committed there. True Washington is a nice player. And the one thing I'll say with Jay Lucas, he takes a backseat to no one in recruiting. He takes a backseat to no one in relationships. They actually themselves just got another international player over the last couple days. And so I just bring it up because he is a guy that I think, it's almost like NC State with Will Wade. You're going to start seeing these schools more and more on kids' Final 5, Final 10, Final 3, whatever. And I think the inclination is, Miami's not a factor. If Kentucky's recruiting them and Illinois is recruiting them and no. Miami is going to be a factor in these recruitments. So yeah, this stuff happens quick. I am trying to figure this out in real time. I don't claim that I have any crazy insight other than that I don't think BYU is going to be in the mix. But this is a name to know because it feels like he's going to be playing college basketball next year.